Well, hello, friends and fellow pioneers. I wanted to share this top 10 list with you. I had shared it before, but not in video form, and I didn't really explain it. I only had shared it as a post on Facebook, and we're transitioning away from Facebook, so I wanted to take some time to go over this list with you. If you're feeling an urgency to have some staple groceries and ingredients on hand for sustainable survival, then this is for you. So I mentioned on the live stream yesterday, for example, that the number one thing I tell friends and family and students to get is baking soda. It's a very handy, practical thing. It's easy to remember to buy it and can solve a lot of problems for you. You obviously, it's not something that you can eat, but it is my favorite survival ingredient, let's say. And so I'm going to go over this with you. And I've had people ask me questions about what I mean with some of these. So I wanted to just take some time to go over the list. So this is the top 10 ingredients, staple, like I consider to have on hand, staple ingredients to have on hand for sustainable survival. And if you want a copy of this, if you want your own copy, just send me an email to Aurora, Aurora, Aurora at producingfreedom.com, and I'll be happy to send you a link to this. I don't have a link currently in the details, so if you want it right now, just send me an email and I will send it to you. I'll send you a way to download this PDF. So I just felt kind of a urgency. I had been wanting to do this video, and I just went ahead and decided to record this right now. So again, this is just the number one thing we teach our students and friends to get is baking soda, to have as a staple to meet a lot of needs, because it's so multi-purpose. That's just an ingredient. It's not necessarily food. So I created this top 10 list a while back, and I wanted to share it with you in this way, so that maybe it can inspire you to get some things to have on hand in an emergency situation, for emergency preparedness or crisis, whatever the case may be, that inspires you to want to have some survival products on hand. Then here's our list. So again, number one, these are not survival foods, but they're things that you buy at the grocery store. Number one is baking soda. And I'm not going to get into all the details as to why baking soda, but it is a very versatile ingredient. So I highly recommend that you get it, and it's just easy. Add it to your list and have baking soda. One thing I will mention is get the plastic bag. I'm not a big fan of plastic, except that with baking soda, if you buy it in the box and somehow it gets moist or wet for any reason around it, like you put it where your detergents are, and I had this happen, so I'm giving you a real life example. If you have it somewhere in a cabinet where there's a detergent and the detergent has like a little hole in it and it starts leaking out, then your stuff is ruined. Your baking soda box is ruined. So I don't really recommend that if you're buying, to have some extra things on hand, that you buy it in the cardboard box. Buy it in the plastic bag. The next thing is unrefined coconut oil. If the only coconut oil you can get is refined, that's okay. Ideally, you can get it unrefined, expeller pressed, all those good things, so you can use it for medicinal purposes and for food. The next item that I recommend having on hand for, again, just many uses, is raw apple cider vinegar with a mother in it. That's what the label says. So if you can buy it organic, do that. Then here's number 4 is the thing that I've had the most questions about. And I call them dry edible seeds, grains, or legumes. And what I mean by that is, if you buy like organic, non-GMO seeds, grains, and legumes that are food grade. You can cook them, but you can also sprout them, and you can have like an extra added nutritional value if you eat them sprouted. And also you could plant them, so you have a threefold purpose in having these things. So if you buy something that is pre-cooked, or it's not non-GMO, or it's not something that you could plant and sprout, then there are some beans that are not recommended to be sprouted. You can look into that. But the next thing is white vinegar. Separate from apple cider vinegar, they have different uses. And again, I'm not going to go into all the details. The number 6 thing I recommend having is salt, but not just any salt. Try to have good quality sea salt, Himalayan pink salt or Korean salt that you can use, not just to cook, but to ferment things. And that's another video, a topic for another time, but being able to have the salts that you need for fermenting foods, that can be an extra source of raw probiotics that can give you an extra benefit in a situation where you may not be able to buy other supplements or other things. If you have the ingredients to make probiotic foods, such as like raw kimchi, and there's recipes for that recommendation for another time. But having that on hand is really critical, because again, I'm not going to teach you, again, like with baking soda, like I mentioned on the live stream yesterday, I can't teach you how to make that, just some basic raw materials, raw ingredients to have. And 7, having like dishwashing liquid or soap, something to may not be something you may or may not have thought about it, but just to mention it, to have something to wash things and keep things clean in an emergency situation. The 8th thing is honey. Try to get raw honey, and you can use it for medicinal purposes. It also keeps extremely well. The same with coconut oil. It keeps indefinitely if it's stored properly. So having honey or maple syrup for medicinal purposes and for cooking, make sure it's high quality, real things, because there's so many fake products out there. And the reason I say that is because last year we went to a beekeepers conference, and we learned that in the world, the instructor shared with us, in the world, the statistics are that 20% more honey is sold than is produced in the world. Now, I just want you to think about that. So let's say, let's just keep it simple, right? 100 gallons of honey are produced, 120 are sold. How is that possible? Because it's not really honey that you're buying. There's so much corruption in that industry that you really need to know, preferably to buy it from the farmer, so that you know that you're actually getting really the product that you're wanting to buy, raw honey, and not some kind of blend of different syrups that look like honey. And you can look that up yourself, but make sure that you get good quality ingredients, because you want to have these for their multi-purpose uses, for medicinal purposes and for cooking. And you really can't afford to be stocking up ingredients that are not something that are going to benefit your body. You want the best quality ingredients as much as possible. Number 9, again, for so many of the different purposes and reasons you can use them, like Epsom salt or magnesium flakes, so many medicinal uses for them. And number 10 is hydrogen peroxide. And again, many uses. For another time, we can go into that. But hopefully this may inspire, even if it's just one thing that may inspire you to look at why you should add it, or you can comment below and ask me if you have questions. I'm trying to keep this video brief. But so again, I've been asked, what does it mean to get edible seeds? You want to get organic, heirloom, non-GMO seeds. And that way, and I did include in this document, look up soybeans and kidney beans as far as I have read, it's not recommended. I don't sprout those. I don't really consume those, but they can become toxic if you sprout them. So you could, sprout them to plant them, but not to eat them. So we focus on having raw materials that are very versatile for multiple uses and applications, that are for health, for hygiene and nutrition. And so that's it. And I would love to share a question with you now. What are your favorite, most basic survival ingredients that you want to always keep on hand in your sustainable survival kitchen? And that's it, friends. I would love to hear from you. Comment below if there was something there that you hadn't thought of that you do use, and you see the value of having it, but maybe you forgot that you would want to have a couple of these on hand in case you needed to evacuate or different things like that, to have in a go bag for extra needs, or just in case that you have a crisis that arises and you really want to have these items on hand for your family. Please let me know. Again, comment below if this was useful to you, and if you want a copy of the PDF and I haven't posted a link, just feel free to email me again to aurora@producingfreedom.com. And that's it, friends. May the Lord bless you and keep you and shine his face towards you, be gracious to you, turn his countenance towards you, and give you shalom peace. Good night.